inside the investigation of a kindergarten teacher's shocking death, and the messy divorce before it. The recent shooting death of an Atlanta area kindergarten teacher, allegedly at the hands of her mother-in-law, has shocked her community and invited many questions. Why did she die? What role did a months-long divorce proceeding and custody dispute play in her death, if any? Did she fight with her mother-in-law before the shooting? And if so, what about? According to SGD. Dana Pierce of the Cobb County Police, investigators believe that on June 23, Elizabeth Wall shot and killed daughter-in-law Jen Wall, who was in the middle of divorcing Elizabeth's son, Gerard. Jen, 35, was killed at her parents' home, where she had been staying with her young sons during the messy divorce, Pierce tells People. Prior to the shooting, police believe that Elizabeth, 63, took her grandsons from the home out to the driveway, where they heard the fatal gunfire. Police believe that at some point during the episode, Elizabeth called Gerard, an investigator in the neighboring district attorney's office, and Jen's estranged husband. He arrived at the house to find his wife's body in the house, with his mother allegedly holding the gun to her head in the living room. Police believe Gerard helped de-escalate and de-arm the situation, both verbally and physically, such that Elizabeth was arrested at the scene without incident. It was Gerard who first called 911, Pierce says. Want to keep up with the latest crime coverage? Click here to get breaking crime news, ongoing trial coverage, and details of intriguing unsolved cases in the True Crime newsletter. Elizabeth was mostly non-verbal upon her arrest, Pierce tells People. She has remained in the Cobb County Jail without bond ever since, on charges of felony murder, aggravated assault, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, according to jail records. Despite repeated attempts, People has not been able to contact her lawyer, Jimmy Berry, for comment. Elizabeth has not yet entered a plea to her charges and will first appear in court at the end of the month, according to a magistrate court representative. What Pierce will not comment on is where Jen was shot in the house, if Elizabeth was on medications or was ill at the time of the shooting, and how that might or might not have affected her stability, and what connection, if any, there is between Jen's death and the legal battle she and her husband had been fighting. Pierce says some details in the investigation will only come out in court. He told People recently that police were still searching for a motive, but he classified the shooting as a domestic-related homicide. The community, meanwhile, searches for answers, with the Walls' recent marital history drawing scrutiny. According to court documents obtained by People, the Walls' divorce was acrimonious but, in the context of divorces, not so unusual. Jen sought permanent custody of the couple's 2 sons, with reasonable periods of visitation with Gerard, according to her October divorce petition. In his answer, in November, Gerard sought no less than joint legal and physical custody, and claimed Jen had demonstrated emotional and financial instability. Gerard claimed Jenna had denied him access and time with the children for no legitimate reason and had been recording phone conversations between him and their sons. In her February filing seeking a guardian ad litem, the legal third party to advocate for their children's best interest in the custody dispute, Jenna claimed Gerard may have been bad-mouthing her to the kids. She said she had serious concerns that as a result of defendants' actions and statements to the minor children, they are being manipulated and influenced in an unhealthy manner. At the time of her death, it had been nearly 9 months since Jenna filed for divorce, and 2 months since Gerard's April counterclaim. His counterclaim alleged that Jenna had been having an affair with a former high school boyfriend. Gerard's divorce attorney, Suzanne Hendrickson, tells People that Jenna admitted to the affair in a deposition. Jenna's divorce attorney, Stephanie Steele, declined to comment on the case. Gerard said in his counterclaim that Jenna kept the alleged affair from him. Even when he confronted her, he noticed an estrangement in the parties' relationship, and was made to believe by plaintiff that he was the cause of the estrangement. In April, he sought to be the children's primary custodial parent, with visitation for Jenna and the two sharing legal custody, according to the counterclaim. Friends, neighbors and co-workers described Jenna to People as a devoted mother, driven by the love for her sons. Alyssa Kent, her friend, said she did not believe Jenna was having an affair. For all of the accusations, there had been improved communication between the spouses and progress toward a resolution before Jenna's death, Hendrickson says. The court had appointed a guardian ad litem to sort out custody for them, but her work had only just begun when the shooting happened, Hendrickson says. The last filing in their divorce case came in early July, the notice to the court that Jenna was dead. Shortly before Jenna was killed in June, she and Elizabeth allegedly had a conversation in Jenna's parents' home, Hendrickson says. SGD. Pierce says he was unaware of any altercation before the shooting, and he declined to say what statements Elizabeth has made in custody, if any. But Elizabeth had not been involved in the divorce proceeding, Hendrickson says, adding that she was not even on the radar screen. Gerard's mom was not a confidant of his, she says, dismissing any allegation that Gerard was either directly or indirectly involved in the shooting. He did not harbor ill will or ill intent toward his wife, Hendrickson says. Kent says that in the weeks before her death, Jenna's car had had its tires slashed. Pierce confirmed that, but tells People police believe the incident is unconnected to her death. To think that Gerard would want harm to come to Jenna is so outlandish and preposterous, because he loves his children to the extent that he would never want to inflict that type of harm to them, Hendrickson says. Pierce says Gerard, who, through Hendrickson, declined to comment, has been cooperative in the investigation and is not a suspect. Gerard has custody of his sons, and Hendrickson says he is focused on moving forward following the tragedy. Despite reports that Gerard and his sons did not attend Jenna's funeral, Hendrickson says they were there, in a private room adjacent to the sanctuary. Emotions were running high, and considering the cause of Jenna Wall's death, The family didn't want the children to be exposed to anyone having an emotional outburst, she says. In absence of all the answers, the community grieves for Jenna, an admired teacher who died, and for her family, forever altered by the violence. She's dead, Kent says. She can't get her side out.